When you speak of prodigies in the world of basketball, the conversation often turns to those rare athletes who seem touched by something divine, as though the game was written into their DNA long before they ever picked up a ball. Paige Bueckers is one of those rare figures. To watch her play is to witness a mix of grace and grit, artistry and athleticism, humility and hunger. She embodies the essence of basketball not simply as a game, but as a language, one that she has been fluent in since childhood, one that she uses not only to express herself but to inspire everyone watching. Her journey began in Edina, Minnesota, where she was born on October 20, 2001. She grew up in Hopkins, a place where basketball was more than just recreation. It was a community staple, a way of life. From her earliest days, Paige had an energy that was hard to contain. She picked up sports naturally, dabbling in soccer and track, but basketball was the one that lit a spark inside her. Her father, Bob Bueckers, became her first coach, nurturing her love for the game while teaching her its fundamentals. Bob knew the sport, but more importantly, he knew how to instill discipline, hard work, and joy in his daughter. Those early driveway sessions were not just about developing skills, they were about shaping character. Paige's parents separated when she was young, and her mother, Amy Fuller, later moved to Montana. That left Paige primarily with her father, and their bond deepened through basketball. Bob wasn't just a parent in the stands, he was the steady figure who believed in her, pushed her, and reminded her that talent would only take her so far. What mattered was effort, perseverance, and attitude. In interviews, Paige has often credited her father for being the foundation of her journey, a grounding influence who kept her focused even as her star began to rise. By the time Paige entered Hopkins High School, she was already being talked about as the next big thing. And she lived up to every ounce of hype. Hopkins became her stage, and she became its brightest light. Her handle was silky, her vision immaculate, her shot pure. Fans marveled at the way she could dominate a game without scoring 30 points. She controlled tempo, created opportunities, and brought out the best in her teammates. That unselfishness was part of what made her so magnetic. Yes, she could score in bunches, but she loved passing, loved setting others up, loved making the game flow. Her reputation spread nationally. She was crowned the top recruit in the country, named the 2020 Gatorade National Player of the Year, and earned a McDonald's All-American selection. By her senior year, she wasn't just a local sensation. She was a household name in women's basketball circles. ESPN highlights of her no-look passes and crossovers went viral. Young fans looked up to her. Coaches praised her basketball IQ as being years ahead of her age. She was not only carrying Hopkins to dominance, but she was also raising the profile of girls basketball in Minnesota and beyond. Her decision to commit to the University of Connecticut felt almost inevitable. UConn, under Gino Auriemma, has long been the mecca of women's college basketball, a dynasty that produced legends like Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, Maya Moore, and Breanna Stewart. For Paige, the choice was about legacy, about challenging herself in the toughest environment, about adding her name to a lineage of greatness. For UConn, her arrival was a breath of fresh energy, a reminder that the program's story was far from finished. From the moment she arrived in stores, Paige didn't just meet expectations, she shattered them. As a freshman, she led the Huskies in scoring, assists and steals, all while playing with the poise of a veteran. She didn't just fit into UConn's system, she elevated it. Her vision, creativity, and composure became the heartbeat of the team. Fans and analysts quickly realized they weren't just watching a talented freshman, they were witnessing something generational. Her freshman season culminated in history. She became the first freshman ever to win the AP Player of the Year award, a recognition typically reserved for seasoned upperclassmen. It wasn't just her stats, it was her impact, her ability to command a game, and her knack for delivering when it mattered most. But with meteoric rise comes inevitable trials. In December 2021, Paige suffered a significant knee injury, a torn ACL that sidelined her for the entire 2022-23 season. For any athlete, such a setback is devastating. For Paige, whose life had revolved around the game, it was a test unlike any she had faced before. Fans mourned the absence of her brilliance, but behind the scenes, Paige confronted the mental and emotional toll of recovery. She admitted the process was grueling, the long hours of rehab, the doubts, the longing to simply play again. Yet through it all, she leaned on her faith and her community. Her teammates became her family, her coaches her pillars, and her fans her motivators. Paige showed resilience not just in her physical recovery but in her mental approach. She never disappeared, never allowed the injury to isolate her. Instead, she became a vocal leader on the sidelines, cheering, guiding, and supporting her teammates even when she couldn't contribute on the court. That presence spoke volumes. It proved that her leadership extended beyond her play, that her influence was as much about who she was as a person as it was about her talent. When she returned, the roar of the crowd was deafening. Fans weren't just celebrating a player, they were celebrating perseverance. Paige came back with renewed fire, more determined than ever to savor every dribble, every pass, every shot. Injuries had taught her perspective, that the game she loved could be taken away at any moment, and that made her appreciation deeper, her hunger sharper, and her presence even more powerful. What makes Paige's story so resonant is not just her skill but her humanity. Off the court, she is deeply authentic. She wears her heart openly, showing gratitude to her family, her teammates, and her community. She is outspoken about faith, about giving credit to God for her journey, about remaining humble even when the world places her on a pedestal. She understands the platform she has been given, and she uses it with purpose. Whether it's connecting with fans, inspiring the next generation, or being a voice for equality in women's sports. Paige's influence goes beyond basketball. She has become a cultural figure, a symbol of what is possible when talent, work ethic, and humility converge. She has inspired countless young girls to pick up a basketball, to dream bigger, to believe that their aspirations are within reach. In an era where women's sports are finally gaining broader recognition, Paige Bueckers is one of its brightest stars, an athlete who commands attention not only with her play but with her presence. Her journey is still in motion. The path ahead includes WNBA stardom, Olympic dreams, and undoubtedly more moments that will etch her name further into basketball history. Yet what will define her legacy won't be just the trophies she wins or the records she breaks. It will be the way she carries herself, the way she lifts others, the way she plays the game with artistry and heart. When fans look back decades from now, they will remember Paige Bueckers not just as one of the best to play the game, but as someone who redefined what it meant to be a leader, a teammate, and a role model. She represents the perfect balance of confidence and humility, talent and hard work, individual brilliance and team spirit. She is, in every sense, a generational player. And so, every time she steps onto the hardwood, we are reminded that greatness is not just about highlights, it's about the love of the game, the resilience in adversity, and the courage to chase dreams with everything you have. Paige Bueckers embodies all of that, and her story, though already remarkable, is only just beginning. Thank you for joining us in honoring the journey of Paige Bueckers. If her story of resilience, brilliance, and humility inspired you, let it encourage you to keep fighting for your dreams no matter the obstacles. Like this video if her journey touched you, share it with those who need to be reminded of the power of perseverance, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another story of passion, triumph, and inspiration.